When you go to the gym and you do the treadmill and shit, do you bring a rag to wipe it off, or do you do that after, or bring it to the treadmill before you get on the treadmill?
I don't bring anything because I don't really sweat or touch anything. But normally people will bring a towel to the
Like from
treadmill while they're
home?
working out. No, like the gym has towels.
Wait, Maggie,
Does your
did you
gym not have towels?
reactivate your membership?
No, I didn't reactivate it. It just went through, so I guess they never got my freaking letter.
Wait, they probably
Another
just
go
like
figure.
threw it away.
They probably did. I love it's like addressed. It's like Planet Fitness, like with fucking Planet Fitness's address. But apparently they didn't open it.
Did you confront them and be like, yo,
No, I
sent
didn't
this in.
confront them. Are you kidding? I was like, I
Like-
guess I still have a membership.
She wrote a letter. Do you think she's going to confront them?
Like, I literally couldn't even cancel. That's the scariest part, I think, of the gym is the employees.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I don't know.
I can't believe they didn't cancel your membership.
I know, I don't know. But that's why I was asking about the rag, because I think that's also something that makes me insecure at the gym is like the wiping down the machines after.
Do they have towels there for
Yeah.
you to grab?
Like paper
use?
towels and then the cleaner. So I like grab the paper
Oh.
towels and the cleaner and I spray it down like afterwards. But some
Like
people
what my
grab
sister
it
will
before.
do is just take a towel, like a workout towel, to the treadmill and then just like lay it over the treadmill and then just like
Yeah.
wipe it off.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, because
walk
I don't
away.
really like sweat either because I'm not working out hard enough.
Yeah.
That's such a misconception, though. I think, like, my trainer was talking to me about this, and she said, like, somebody walking, like, 10 to 20,000 steps a day lost, like, 20 pounds just by, like, walking, purely walking.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
I think so many people are like, oh, I have to, like, sweat my ass off, or I have to feel, like, really, really sore the next day in order for it to qualify as a good workout. I feel like just getting there and, like, doing whatever you feel like makes a big difference.
It's so true. Like, I've been trying to figure out, like, I just feel so insecure in my body recently, and I haven't felt that in like years. And I'm like, why? Like, what is different about my life? And I think that's one
Yeah.
of the things is like, I'm just not walking as much. Like, I used to go on a walk
Yeah.
every single day, and like, I just haven't been going on walks. And like, that is just a huge part
It's
of it. Even
crazy how
walking.
much of a difference it makes.
Yeah. Because I mean, you probably get like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 steps just being at home.
Yeah. It really I feel like it depends on how long your walks are too, but I think if we do a like 30-45 minute walk, we can get between like 3 and 5,000 steps, which is
Yeah.
like a big number. So Joe's like been really good. He's been like, "Hey, like let's go on a walk." I'm like, "You're taking
That's
you two
good.
girls out on a walk right now," because he's like taking Rosie. He's like, "Come on, let's go. You're getting crazy.
Time for a
It's
walk."
time." Yeah,
Every single
time for a
time
walk,
though, like you
Brittany.
feel better after. Like every single
Oh,
time.
every time. I'm like resisting it. I'm like, no, I have more to do. And he's like, no, it's time for the
I
walk.
know. It like annoys me when people are like, you know, when you're feeling depressed or anxious or whatever, and people are like, well, you should go work out. And I'm like, no, that's not what's wrong with me. And then you go work out and you're like,
Stupid
okay, I feel
advice.
so much better.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
didn't
like
fix
drink more
anything
water.
necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that in your video, Dev, when you were like, I am sad to report that everything that people say works does actually work.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So sad.
Okay, tell us about your vacation. Or should we do
yeah.
the intro first, maybe? Probably do the intro
Yeah, let's
first.
do the intro. Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of So Glad We're Friends. I'm Maggie.
I'm Devin.
I'm Brittany. I like your little star arms, Dev.
I'm
We're
sore
here.
It's
from
me.
I went to the batting cages on Saturday and like I'm so
Oh.
sore from it. My hands are
Our bat
fucking sore
is
from like
heavy.
holding a bat and like
Oh, are your like forearms sore from like gripping it?
yeah, but not as sore as like literally my hand. Like my hand
Oh,
muscles.
Interesting.
And then my back from
That
like
is interesting.
swinging.
You probably don't ever work out your hands.
No.
Nope, I don't, not anymore.
What does that mean?
When I was in gymnastics, I probably had really strong hands.
Yeah, you probably
I was like,
did.
what were you up to previously?
Rock climbing.
Dude, rock climbing scares the shit out of me. I don't know how people
Same.
do that.
I just want to like rappel like how
The
they
fun
kick off
part.
the
Oh,
wall.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
want to do. I don't want to actually climb.
That's what I used to do is I would like climb like not even maybe a quarter up the wall, and I would be like, okay, wee, like
Climb,
Really?
down we
wee.
go.
Climb,
I've never even
wee.
tried.
Ugh, we tried and it was not successful, or I tried at least. I don't like it.
The
I feel
batting
like if you
cages
try
looks
and go
fun though,
fast.
Dev. I loved
It
the
was fun.
you looked like a 5-year-old boy.
I literally did. Like I look like a little boy where they stuck a helmet on him and said, "Get out there, son." And then like the helmet's like too big, and I'm like, everything's too heavy.
And you also went to Topgolf? You had a very sporty weekend.
I know. Yeah, I really suck at Topgolf. Also, Topgolf is so awkward because like your whole party is like sitting watching you, like
Mhm.
bowling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm just terrible. I keep missing the fucking golf ball.
I do the
Yeah.
same.
Golf is so hard. I still don't understand. I went golfing with Joe on Saturday morning, and I'm still like, how do you hit the ball straight? Like, and he's like, he has that little like rangefinder thing, so he sees exactly how far he's supposed to hit it. And I'm like, how do you know like how hard to swing to get it to like exactly 110 yards? Like what?
Or
Like,
which thing to use, like, or what is that even called?
yeah,
A club?
What?
which golf? There's like 20 different golf clubs in the
Yeah,
thing.
they're like, oh,
and
300
he's just
feet.
like
Time for
expertly
my
like
number 5.
no. He's like, I grabbed the 7 instead of the 3, and that was wrong. Like came
Yeah,
back to the
what?
cup. I'm like, okay.
I think also like men can
Okay.
focus on something like that for a much longer time. Like I don't even have the patience to learn about what fucking club I want to use, but like men like get
No.
super like hyper fixated on their activities like this, and so they're like going to go and do all this research and like get really good at it and knowledgeable about it. I'm just like, I
We're
have
like,
too many
men get
things
so
going on in my head.
hyperfixated, as if like we're not the most hyperfixated on our hobbies.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think that maybe it's like a little bit different in a way. I can kind of see like the difference a little bit.
Yeah, like their hyperfixations is like giving them an actual tangible outcome, whereas
Or like
mine
something
is
to
not.
learn.
Yeah.
Like a skill.
Yeah.
I know mine's like food. Like I want to eat the same omelet.
Not
every
cook
morning.
it, just eat it.
Just eat it. I definitely like I came back from this vacation finally feeling refreshed. Like I woke up and so excited to work yesterday. I worked
That's
until like
awesome.
7:30 last night. And it was just
I didn't
like
know. I thought that
I
was just a myth.
no. Well, it has been honestly a myth, like because I have not taken a vacation that I come back from actually feeling excited to work.
Yeah.
And like
so
actually a
long.
vacation where you actually let yourself like rest the whole time.
Yeah. And I had to work obviously because like I with the agency especially, and then I don't, people pay me to be their coach, so I'm like working still, but I wasn't doing like anything extra. Like it was all just maintenance and like showing up for people.
Mhm.
Like I wasn't posting or anything like that.
You weren't
So
having to like
that
be
felt really
creative
good.
and stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't having to like do anything new necessarily. So
It looked
that felt
so
really good.
pretty. Like it looked like the nicest
It
resorts.
was.
What are they
It
called?
was
Kimpton?
so Kimpton. So it was really cute. They obviously like have like a Marriott, they have like the Hilton, Hyatt, whatever, like, and they're big hotels that are on the island. But Kimpton did something different where they like transformed the houses, like old houses that were on
Oh,
Key
that's
West.
cool.
Like,
Wow.
and they all had little plaques and like stories about like how they, came to be. But they just converted the houses into hotel rooms. And so it was just really cute. And they have like 5 different locations on Key West. And so you can like, and we didn't know this, but we definitely chose like I think the best location because it was like super close to town. It was close to the water, and it was close to like one of the other Kimptons that we actually liked going to for the pool more. But it just had like so much more character because it was in this like little house, and there were so many different ones all over the place. So you can kind of
That
choose
is
the
so
different style that
cool.
you want.
How is Key West?
Some of the other ones, it was really
I was
cute.
just shook you called it an island. I was like, I didn't know it was an island.
It's like Florida,
Yeah.
technically, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the farthest key out. So like there's a bunch of different keys like off of the coast of Florida.
Okay.
And then Key West is like the last key on the very far edge.
Did
And
you
it
go
like
in the
so
water?
we flew from like what?
Did you go in the water?
Yeah, like did you boat?
We did not go on the beach at all.
But like how did you get to the islands? Like do you have
By
to take a
plane.
boat to there or like a
No,
seaplane?
it's like big enough that there's airports on some
Oh,
of the keys.
okay.
So but this is what I was thinking about, because we flew from Denver to Atlanta, and from Atlanta to Key West is still 2.5, I think it was 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I did not think it was
Hmm.
that far. I thought like, oh, Atlanta's like super close to Florida. It's going to be like maybe a 45-minute flight, but it was still a 2-hour flight. So it's like pretty out there.
Hmm.
It's like a smaller plane, I think, typically.
How was the red eye?
That
Were you happy
It
that
was
you did a
actually
red eye?
okay. And if we did Key West again, I would take a red eye again for sure,
That's good.
because it was so nice to have the entire day just, to enjoy being there instead of like just the entire day traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
and you use
here's
a
something
whole
that's
day.
interesting. Do you guys feel different? I don't know how often you guys do like road trips, but like Joe just made this comparison yesterday that flights take it out of us and make us so much more tired than road trips do, even though we're in the car for like way longer. Do you have that too?
That's
I
interesting.
think
I would
like
disagree.
airports
Really?
are so much more work to me. Like, I would
Yeah,
much rather,
that's what
like
we're
how we're going to
thinking.
Palm Springs, it seems so much easier
Yeah.
to me to hop in my car and drive 4 hours rather than like drive to the airport, take the tram, check my luggage, get on the plane for
Yeah.
45 minutes, get off the plane. Like, even though you're just traveling for like 45 minutes, that whole airport
Yeah.
situation just is a lot. Whereas when you
It
travel in your
is.
car, you just hop in the car. Although, if I were driving for like 6 to 8 hours, that would be way more exhausting to me than like
Yeah. But
flying.
even Joe, like after driving, because I just sit there and read my books and listen to podcasts and stuff,
Yeah.
he's still like not very tired after driving.
That's
And
really
he'll drive like 10
interesting.
hours.
I'm trying to think of why
Yeah.
maybe the airport makes it like exciting for me almost like we're going on a vacation rather than like in the
Yeah.
car. Also, usually then the dogs are with us if we're in the car, and then that's like an extra added stress. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know. It's just weird because we definitely like we'll drive to like Austin, we'll like pop up and like do activities and stuff. But when we got back from Florida, we were like exhausted. We're like, oh my God, like just take the rest of the day and chill.
I think all
Even
travel's
though,
exhausting on like either or. I'm always
Yeah.
like
yeah,
done at the end of the travel.
Especially coming home.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Coming home, I definitely think is harder. But I definitely felt like the first couple, it took like a few days. Like remember we were talking about before, like it takes like a little bit of time to
Mm.
get used to like a new rhythm,
Mhm.
and if you don't have long enough, it doesn't actually feel like a vacation.
Mhm.
So it took me until like I think we left on Tuesday or Monday night and like got there Tuesday, and I think it took me to like Thursday, Friday to like actually feel relaxed and
Oh
chill.
wow.
And then the weekend was when I like really just felt so just in my element.
What did you
Got
do?
back in
Did
my
you read a
reading
book?
era.
What did you read?
Yeah, I think I read like 2 or 3 books.
Holy shit. Actually read the
I
book that you bring on vacation? I could never.
Well, I bought a book. I bought
At the
we went to this cute little
at the
bookstore.
airport?
No, the airport
Oh.
bookstore is closed, remember?
Britt
Oh,
I'm
sends
yeah,
us
yeah.
a picture of
devastated.
the airport bookstore being closed.
So sad.
The downsides of
I
a red
did
eye.
go to the one in Florida, or not in Florida, in Atlanta, and it wasn't very interesting. But
Mm.
I went to the one in the little like local bookstore in Key West. It was so cute. And it was just like nice to like putz around and like look at the books. And it was like local, so they had like a bunch of like personal
Cute.
reviews and stuff like stuck underneath the
Oh,
books.
cute.
And so I started. Do you guys know? I don't know. Is it Ellen or Eileen or Aylin? I don't know. Elin Hildebrand. She writes a bunch of books
I
like
feel like
based in
Hildebrand
Nantucket,
sounds
like the East.
familiar.
Yeah, she writes a bunch of books like that are based in like Nantucket, on the East Coast kind of thing, Cape Cod.
Cute.
And so I really got into her books, and I like her style of writing and everything. And they're longer books too, which is kind of nice. I think like so many books are like 300 pages, and there's kind of like a rhythm of it. And so her books are like 400 plus pages most of the time.
Is it like a romance?
So yeah, but there's like mystery involved in them, and there's
Oh,
like just very
cool.
different plots. So I really liked it. And then but it was just like chill, but it was hot.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask that.
It was like 100 degrees or 90 degrees, but the humidity was just like crazy. Like you were asking me like how my hair was like wet, and I like literally couldn't dry my hair. Otherwise it would just like frizz out.
It looked gorgeous, like
it like finally like, but because I have my hair straight so much of the time and it's like so dry here, I think it took a little while for it to get used to.
Have you been to Florida, Dev? I've never been to Florida.
You've never
I've been to Orlando.
Oh, you go to Disney
That is
World.
crazy.
I've only on the East Coast. I've only been to DC and New York.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess it is kind of far for you guys.
It's like a whole other world over there.
That's wild.
Like there's so many
I feel like
states
with
to
Michigan,
go to.
it's just so like everyone goes to Florida. Like it's
we all go to
one
California
in the rotation.
I feel like Michigan though, people do go to the West
Or
Coast
Mexico.
more too. Like it's like almost people go both ways.
Yeah, we definitely went to the West Coast a lot too. We did like a few different, like an annual California trip for a couple of years in a row. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Highly recommend an extended vacation though, if you really want to feel relaxed.
Can you tell us about the cat?
Oh my god, yeah, isn't that weird?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So at Hemingway's house, he has a bunch of like 6-toed cats. It's just like
a bunch of them.
Yeah, I think most
6 toes.
I didn't
That
count
looked
every
like they were
single one of
wearing
them.
like a baseball mitt or something.
Doesn't it?
You need to go look at
It's
Brittany's
the
photo dump
funniest
that she
thing.
posted of her vacation. Like, I didn't even notice at first until I saw
that's
Dev's
the first thing I saw.
I didn't even notice.
But I have a cat. I have cats. So like I'm looking at their little tiny paws and I was like, wait, what is going on with this cat's foot?
Is it the breed or it's just like a genetic something?
I think it's like a genetic mutation, and then because
And he
the
just
cats
breed
are
with each
like
other.
rare. Yeah, I guess so. I don't really know. But
Oh my
Do
god,
they
I want
walk
to go there just to see that. Yeah, I want to see them walk.
yeah, I think they do, because you couldn't really tell unless they were like lying down. Like when we saw the cat, because the cats were like all over the property, and you couldn't really like count the toes as easily like when they were like walking around.
Like it's so big.
I know. The other ones were like a little bit less pronounced, I think. That guy just had like a big paw and like 6 toes. So
God, that was so funny.
Wait, do they have 5 normally or only 4?
4.
I think they have,
oh my god!
What? They only have 4?
Yeah, I'll send you. I took a picture of my cat
big.
paw. I'll send it to you.
And then do they have like that like
dew claw
that
or
like
whatever?
thumb thing? Yeah, the
No.
dew paw or whatever. Oh, then that's even more weird. I thought they had 5 toes usually.
No, like I cannot. Once I saw Devon's comment and then went back, I was like so shook. Like it didn't make any sense.
Go look at my cat's
so
paw.
Funny. And then they have a bunch of roosters all over the island too. So they're like cock-a-doodle-and like every morning, which is cute.
I love that. Yeah, that is
1,
the
2,
tiny,
3, 4.
cutest little sweetest paw I've ever seen.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, I definitely thought they had 5.
I need to go back and look at it.
That's even funnier too, because it's like a similar looking cat to your cat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
It's like a jump scare. The front paws.
Well, and they're on the back paws too. Did you see that?
Yeah. I took a screenshot of it because I can't stop looking at it. It looks like
I need to see it
Photoshopped
walking
or something.
Yeah.
What if you were just playing a prank on us and photoshopped it?
I know. It'd be really good fucking Photoshop.
I'd be very impressed.
But
that poor cat. God.
I feel like they don't know any different though, you know?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay, wait, Devin, you read Luckiest Girl Alive and you watched the movie? Or you just read it?
Yeah, what did you think?
It.
What are the thoughts?
I really liked it. It was kind of hard to get into the author's writing style, especially during present day, because she kind of like jumps around a lot. Like she'll be talking about something happening right now, and then she'll reference something that happened in the past or something, all in the same paragraph, and I'll be like, wait, what is going on? Like I get lost sometimes. But I really loved the story. It was so good. Like, I didn't expect
Yeah.
the thing that happened to happen. And then the movie was
Yeah.
really good. I really liked the movie.
Do you think you
I
like the
didn't
book
love
more
the
or the
book
movie
as
more?
much.
The book, you know when you read a book and then you watch a movie, it just, like, happens all so quickly, and you're like
Yeah.
like, the high school scenes seemed so significant in the book, and in the movie, they almost just felt like flashbacks, like, they were very quick,
Mhm.
and it's like, "Oh, we're already at this scene," when I was watching the movie.
Yeah.
But, like,
I
I
think
knew
it was weird
Mila
how they also
played her.
depicted her, like, inner character, like, her inner dialogue was interesting how they did that
Yes,
in the
how
movie.
everybody was, like, so ugly and stuff. Like, she was very focused in the book on how people looked and, like, you know, like, she called that one girl shark eyes, and, like, Arthur was, like, 300 pounds, and she was always talking about how overweight she was, and then obviously in the movie, like, they want everybody to be pretty and stuff, but, like, that
Yeah.
wasn't a focus at all really in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
"God, why is
interesting.
everybody so disgusting?" Like, all of the descriptions of people were just like, "These poor kids."
Yeah, I read the movie so much. I mean, I read the book so much longer before I watched the movie, so like I don't even fully remember the
Mm.
book. I just remember that I liked it a lot, but I don't recall
Yeah.
like all the differences.
I literally finished it and then watched the movie the same day.
I think I did the same thing too. Hi, Rosie.
Wow. Wait, who watched Rosie?
We have a dog sitter and I love her. She
How did
like
you find her?
plays with Rosie. My trainer is
Oh,
like one of her best friends. But she like lets Rosie sleep in her bed with her and like snuggle
Aw,
her and like they just like have a great time together. And
that's
Rosie just like
awesome.
absolutely loves it there.
that is so
And
cute.
she sends so many pictures and videos. And that's what I love the most. She'll
Yeah.
send like morning, noon, and night pictures, which makes it just that much easier. Okay, out.
Adorable.
Time to go.
Okay, do we have any other life updates or things, or should we?
Do you have any
Dive
wedding
in.
updates?
Not really. I just
I saw you
feel
pulled some dress inspo.
Yeah, I just really feel like my ADHD is ADHDing, and like there's just like literally a million thoughts in my mind, and it's just like boop, 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 like a fucking ping pong table,
Ugh.
and like
And you like start on one thing and then like just go to another thing.
yeah, and it's like so weird because like I don't even know the proper order of things. Like it's like there's things that are important, but then it's like, do I push this back to do this other thing or whatever? And I'm just like, God
Yeah.
damn, I could have like, where was all my free time? I should have been way more productive in work before this. Like it's
But
wild.
I think that it almost makes you more productive when you have all of these like things
It's
to do
true.
because then you start to like plan more and you know make better use of your time versus
That's
if you have all the
very
time in the
true.
world you're like, huh, I have forever to do this, so
Yeah,
why not
it's
wait
very
until the
true.
last minute
We
to make it
still have
happen.
not found our free Disneyland trip coupon,
Oh
and we
shit.
need to find it in like the next week and a half, or else we can't go on trip.
Oh my god.
I'm
Did you
thinking
pack
it.
it?
Did
Yeah,
that
and
fucking stupid thing, timeshare thing.
I'm like, I feel like maybe if I called them or like they made us do another, like go to the timeshare thing again, maybe they would still give it to us or something. I don't know. I'm just so mad at myself because I literally like when we were moving, I was like, I'm putting it in this place so that way I
Oh
can
my
find
god,
it. And like I
that's
have
Oh
so
my
no
god,
fucking
disgusting.
that
idea where
sucks.
it's
So
at.
it's somewhere intentionally placed.
I had maybe
It's
maybe
probably
it's thrown
some
away though. Like it's just
Oh,
paper. I don't even know what it looks like at this point.
that's so
damn.
tragic.
Yeah,
I did that
so
with my passport before a big trip.
that is terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's scary.
So bad. I
Where
had to
was
tear
it?
apart my entire. It was in one of those places where it was like I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna put it this place and I'm gonna remember it, and
Hey.
did not remember until like the final hour, and then I found it.
Yeah, we need to like still go through the garage and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to Arizona this weekend to do dress shopping, and we're doing 2 different stores. And I just kind of feel like everyone else is more excited about this all than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are you not
I'm like,
excited about
everyone
it?
needs to chill the frick out. Everyone's just
Are they
very
stressing you
like,
out?
yeah, like everyone's just very a lot. And I feel like
Yeah.
if it was 2 weeks before the wedding and I had to find a dress, I feel like I could go to Anthropologie and make it happen.
Yeah. Well, doesn't Anthro have like
They do.
Beholden or whatever is like their thing?
Yeah, it's actually gorgeous. But I don't know. We're going
Yeah.
to Just David's Bridal on one of the days because they're the only fucking dress shop that allows more than 4 people to go. So we're
What?
doing that, but I don't like really any of the dresses. Like I like a few of them, but there's none that I like love that are on their website.
Yeah.
So
You're
it'll
just
be
doing
more
it to
so.
do it.
Yeah. I think maybe that's why it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, I could definitely see how overwhelming it would be, especially because like all of the attention and
Like there's gonna be like
pressure is
20
on
people.
you. Holy
Wow.
fuck, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't know why I did this to
About
myself.
that.
Oh my god, I would fucking hate that.
Doesn't that sound like
That's
your
actually
worst
such a good
nightmare?
point.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd want to go with like 2 people, and I'd be like, okay, don't tell me your opinions unless I ask for them.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that will. I feel like everyone will say they like everything. I assume. I don't know. I hope. Even if it's ugly, they'll be like, cute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be
Well, maybe
interesting.
you'll
Is
find
the
your dream
next store
dress because you have
less?
low expectations.
Yeah, maybe. The first store is cuter. It's like an actual place that I maybe would be able to find one. But then I think I'll just also go in Portland or whatever at a
Yeah.
different time.
Do you have a budget for it?
I don't know. I definitely
Are you,
want
like,
2
trying to stay?
dresses.
Yeah.
But like I think I can get a reception dress for like a few hundred. Like I don't need like a thousands
You
of
could probably
dollar
go on
reception dress.
Lulu's.
Yeah, I like Lulu has so many cute ones. Etsy, there's a lot of dresses on Etsy, but like that seems kind of scary too to I don't know, get something shipped.
I feel like it would just be more about the return policy. Like,
Yeah.
how easy is it to return it if it looks bad?
Yeah, I don't know. My dad is buying my dress, so I don't know what the exact budget is, but in my head I'm saying like 3,000-ish.
Yeah. It's crazy
God.
how expensive the dresses
That
can
is
get.
crazy.
I think it'll be less than that. All the ones at David's Bridal are less than that. And then the other shop ranges
that's
from
nice.
like 1,200 to 4,000, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Some of these things I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So in my mind, it's like everything's $10,000.
Yeah, like did you
Yeah.
used to watch the Yes to the Dress?
I feel like I probably saw a few episodes of it, but
Like those are like 15,000 dresses, 20-something thousand dollar dresses. So like me growing up, I
Yeah.
was always like, that's like the
Yeah, but
extreme
still, like
high.
thinking about paying $3,000 for a fucking dress you're gonna wear for
Yeah.
5
A few
hours
hours.
is crazy.
yeah.
I know.
It's so dumb that we like.
My
I don't know.
sister got hers off of Revolve, and I think it was like a couple $100, and I think she was really happy with like her decision. And I mean, she just had a smaller wedding anyway, so it didn't really
Revolve
matter,
has
but
so many cute ones.
yeah. It's nice so that like people have that option to like just buy a dress that's really pretty.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
And there's also so many secondhand. Like if I find a designer or a dress that I want, there's a lot of websites and apps now where brides resell it, and it's like they only wore it for a few fucking hours. So they might as
Mhm.
well
yeah,
also do
that
that.
is really nice.
Do you guys think you would
It's kinda
keep your
crazy.
dress after, like forever, or do you think that you
Mm.
would be fine giving it away?
I'm so sentimental.
So am I. Like I'm like I feel like
Yeah,
I
I
would
don't
want
know.
it.
I have clothes from like high school still. So.
Same.
TBD on if I'm gonna be able to get rid of my
Oh yeah,
wedding
I
dress.
have like
I think-
dance clothes and gymnastics like sweatshirts and stuff that I'm never gonna wear, but I'm like I can't get rid of it.
I kind of feel like they're the most comfy things still.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like it depends on how much I spend on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we'll never wear it again, so I don't know.
Yeah, it would be like solely to like for your own memory or to like
Take
show
out
other
every 10
people.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
that's true.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyways,
That'll
to
be
get
fun.
into our topic today, we are going to be talking more about adult friendships. And obviously, we've done a lot of episodes on friendships and making friends as an adult. But this sparked because there was this TikTok that I saw about an Atlantic article. And basically, it was saying that a large reason why adult friendships are different than your childhood friendships are because when you're a child, you are just filling free time. Like you just have infinite free time where you're like, oh, want to hang out on Saturday? And then you just hang out on Saturday and fill all that time up, rather than now we're like, do you want to go to happy hour at 5 p.m.? And then that's the plan. And you're not filling up free time. So yeah, we wanted to talk about that. And we asked you guys some polls and stuff.
I think this is so interesting. The first thing that you were talking about when it came to like, oh, do you want to hang out on Saturday and just like do whatever? And it's just very open-ended. It kind of brought me back to like in elementary and middle school, especially, you're in the same class with the same people. And those are, you know, oftentimes that's where like my best friends were. Like we had all the same classes. So we like spent so much of the week together in like this structured time and had so many like fun things to kind of connect on. So you're like building your relationship and your friendship for 5 days a week. And then so the Saturday can be more of like this spontaneous thing. And you guys probably like very similar things versus like now you might kind of build some of a friendship, like depending on how much people post on Instagram each week or like on their stories.
Yeah.
And then you have to spend more of the time like on the Saturday building the friendship and the relationship and like putting more time into that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think before we've talked about like how there's just less time with those people. Like you might only see them once a month or every like once a quarter or whatever. But like what if instead of like what if you still saw them once a month but you just made it a free day? Like I wonder if that would change friendships.
But also,
But
like
do you
when
think
you're
that you would
young,
like that?
yeah, like when you're young, you have the energy and the imagination, and your brain just works differently. Like, yeah, I could have spent all day with a friend and be like, "What do you want to do? Okay, let's play this game." And then after we're done, be like, "What do you want to do now?" And it was just like, well, we could play Barbies, or we could play this game, or we could play house. Let's play house. You know, like I don't have that energy or imagination anymore.
Do you feel like you felt more bored as a kid? Like, because in all those
Yes, you
situations, I feel
always
like
had
me
to
and
be
my friends
doing
would be like, "Oh,
something.
we're bored. Like, what do we do now? What do we do now?"
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like whenever I was like bored though, I would like find something pretty quickly to like entertain myself again.
Yeah.
Or I would like bug the shit out of my sisters. Like my sister would be reading and I'm like in there like fucking around with her and she's like, get out.
That is true. Like, especially in a new friendship, you could not just like have free time. That would be very weird.
Yeah. But I do think that there are things we can do to kind of harness that feeling again. Because, like, even in high school, like, we would have sleepovers or hang out all day with a friend and to be like, okay, what should we do? Even if it was like, let's watch TikTok. Or
exactly. It's like
go
the
on a
doing
walk
nothing.
Or let's TP someone or something, you know, like, yeah, like.
But
Is
there's
it the
also certain
spontaneity?
friends that you could do that with where like you could literally just spend like days on end together and not really get bored or sick or tired of each other. And then other friendships where like I still only had like a max amount of time that I could like spend with them.
Yeah. And I think also like as an adult, you get so much more self-aware and anxious about being yourself. Like, you know, the world just like ruins you. And so like if I was just hanging out with a new friend, someone that I just met all day long, like I would be so anxious and awkward and like it wouldn't be fun. But when you're a kid, you're not aware of that stuff.
That is so true. But now that I think about it, like I was definitely really scared to go. I remember this one girl, Haley. She was like very cool and she invited me over to her house. This was probably like first grade, second grade, maybe even kindergarten. And like I remember being so nervous, but she was definitely more like Britt's personality where she took the lead on everything and like made the plans for the day. And then it made me more comfortable. But I think I've always been anxious hanging out with people.
Really? I don't really remember that.
That's interesting.
I also think the other thing that's so different between us now and then is we have so much more expectations. Like when you're younger, you don't really have like, oh, it has to go like X, Y, and Z. I think you just kind of like go into it and you're more open-minded. But now I think people are like, oh, we're going to do all of these things together. And like my version of like fun and my expectations of like what a good time is and like what we're like how we're going to interact are different than like your expectations might be. You know?
And because there's less like time, like you'd have less free time overall.
Yeah, I think as an adult, everything becomes so like transactional. So it's like if I hang out with this person, what am I going to get out of it?
Yeah.
And when you're not getting
that was, like,
anything out of it, it's not worth your time.
yeah. And that's one of the things that really struck me in that article and, like, the TikTok specifically too, like, was the what am I getting out of this sort of thing? And maybe that's how you can, like, change your approach more, or how I can change my approach is, like, can I go into this with more of an open mind and just see, like, I'm gonna get something out of this, like, who knows what it might be, but, like, something's gonna come from it.
Yeah, because in the article they talked about the like catching up with each other and how that is kind of transactional, like when you are seeing each other once a month or every few months, and then you're just doing a recap of those last few months, and then
Yeah.
there's nothing like new coming from it. You're basically just like sharing your feelings of the last month and then listening to them share theirs, and then it's like, okay, cool, bye, see you in a few
Yeah, and
months
it's like,
again.
yeah, I haven't seen this
That's what I
person
find
in a
kind of
long
exhausting.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I like
Trying to,
talking about,
like,
like, things and, like,
yeah, me
ideas
too.
and expanding our friendship and, like, thoughts and processes and, like, getting to know that person better. Like, I really don't like the catch-up stuff that much.
That's why
Me
I get more
either.
anxiety and dread the longer I go without talking to a friend, because then I'm like, okay, it's going
Yeah.
to be like a long conversation. We're just like catching up on everything. It like doesn't feel the
Yeah.
same as somebody that you're talking to frequently, where then they just already like know what's happening in your life, and then you can add
Yeah.
like new things onto that.
I feel like that makes a big difference because you feel more connected to somebody when you're, like,
Yeah.
talking about your feelings or, like, thoughts or ideas or other things like that, but when you're just, like, recapping the last, like, 3
Yeah.
months. Like, and I guess there's a way that you could do a better job of, like, recapping things where you're like, "Hey, in this moment, I was so anxious about this," and, like, go more into detail about, like, 1 or 2 big events versus, like, "Oh, I did this, and then I did this, and then we did this, and blah, 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 blah." Like, that's just very surface level, and there's not very much to connect
Yeah.
on.
And it
Yeah.
makes you feel disconnected from the person, because then you're like, oh, all of this was going on that I didn't know about almost.
Yeah, that's true.
This article says the research behind it. It says many Americans don't have a large number of close friends. In fact, 49% report having 3 or fewer close friends. Most Americans report having situational friendships. For example, some people make temporary friends in the workplace, at school, in the gym, and some sort of shared community. And nearly
Yep.
70% report having a friend that they only see in certain places or at certain times. And it's not really like a forever type of thing, which is interesting because we also have talked about like the third place type of thing of like
Yeah,
having a third
exactly.
location.
And, like, how on TV shows like Friends, they're just constantly, I mean, they're just always hanging out, exactly what we're talking about. Like, why has that disappeared? Like, they're just
Yeah.
always
I
together.
I think that another thing too, I was, like, thinking about my times where I was, like, more spontaneous and, like, more free, I guess. And it also depends on the types of friendships because I really love being spontaneous. And there's a few friends in Chicago where I was like, hey, what are we doing tonight? Like, let's, or after work, like one of my best friends from work was also my best friend, like in life too. And we would just be like, what bar are we going to? Like, what club are we going to? Like, what restaurant should we go out to? Where should, and it was always like this kind of like last minute planning sort of thing. And I always really enjoyed that. But I know that like, for some people that really stresses them out. And so I've tried to do more planning with friends because I think now people are just so booked with their time where like I just want to call somebody up on a Friday and say, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing tonight? Like let's hang out."
Mhm.
That's not really an option I found. And like the more times that I was like rejected because they're like, "Oh, I already have plans," or like, "Oh, I'm busy tonight." I'm like, "Oh, I can't be spontaneous anymore. I like
Yeah,
have to
that's
make plans like a week in advance with somebody in order to like see them."
yeah, that's
That's
the hard thing
interesting.
with, like, work friends because I had a really good girl group of work friends, but, like, they also had friends outside of work and lives, so, like, and I didn't. So, like, they were always busy. Like, we would try to plan to hang out and it'd be like, "Okay, what about in May?" "No, I'm busy this weekend, I'm
Yeah.
busy this weekend." "Okay, what about June?" And that, like,
Yeah.
it never works, and I'm like, "Okay, then fuck my life."
Especially
Like,
with a
never
group,
mind.
like when you need
Yeah.
multiple people's schedules
That's
to
so true.
align, that's like even more
Yeah.
intense. And then with the whole group can't get together, then it's like, okay,
Well, that's
postponed
awkward.
then.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But there like, I just think back to some of the most fun nights or, like, fun times in my life, and they were all based on, like, just let's get together and like see where the night goes. Like I
Yeah,
have
and
like these
like
Snapchat
deciding
memories of
to
like
keep hanging out.
yeah, like where
Yeah.
we like went to this Mexican restaurant, we were like in sombreros and we like met these guys on the street and then we like went to this club and then we like, and it was just like so much fucking fun. And it was like an entire day of hanging out. And then the next day, like I went over to her house and we like probably like watched movies in her bed. It was just like, I don't know.
That
I
makes
think that there's a way to keep doing that.
Yeah, like that makes sense to me when you just said like it depends on the type of friendship, because I think
Yeah.
like I think I put on like long distance friends a lot of like, oh well, I can't have that because I don't have that with my friends in Arizona. But even when I lived in Arizona, we had like my house, like my college group or whatever, and that was very much free time, doing whatever, hanging out every night, filling free time. But I wasn't still seeing like my middle school friends and elementary school friends. That was still very much like, okay, we need to plan to hang out. Are you
Plan.
free for lunch? Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. It was like work and college, and then there was still the separation of like needing to make plans and people being busy and not being able to see people and all of that.
Yeah. I also think there's a different type of energy too of like, hey, like let's go do this tonight. And it's like, I don't know, there's a different excitement with it versus like you have plans on the book for a month and you're just kind of like
Yeah.
know it's
Yeah.
coming type of thing.
And then you
Yeah,
might
especially
not
if you have to
want
like
to do it then.
Yeah, you work
Yeah.
so hard to like make this plan and then it's like you get like you're drained by it. You're like, I don't even care anymore. Like
Yeah, you're like, mini golf sounds really fun a month from now. Don't know if
yeah.
I'll feel up to it on the actual day.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a balance between like understanding other people's schedules and stuff and the spontaneity. Like knowing kind of, okay, this person likes at least like 5 days in advance to make plans. And then we know that we're going to hang out together, but maybe we can like make the plan more last minute based on like how we feel. And like that can be the
Yeah,
spontaneous piece of it.
I think that's a great idea.
I also think just like asking more often. Like I sometimes will like ask a friend last minute to hang out and they say no and then I'm kind of like, well, I'm never doing that again. But like just because they were
Yeah.
busy that one night, maybe they're not going to be busy a week from now.
Yeah.
Ask them a week from now. Like still just ask them. You never know.
Same. Yeah,
Yeah.
me and our like my new friends here that I'm trying to make, we like made kind of that pact to each other that we would try to do that. Like if me and Cameron are going to a rooftop or whatever and just gonna have a drink, then like I'll text them and be like, we're gonna go do this. Like feel free to join if you don't want to or you're busy, totally fine. And like they've
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
that too a few times. It hasn't worked out once yet, but
Mm,
like I feel like it can one day. But it's just like so
yeah.
like we hung out this last weekend and we were like, why don't we just do more like casual things like this every
Yeah.
single
It
time
doesn't
we
Yeah.
have
hang
to
out?
That's
be.
so yeah, it doesn't have to be a production of
Mhm.
like, oh,
Yeah.
so and so's gonna bring this and that and da, 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 da.
But then we were like, okay, let's carve pumpkins. Like, let's hang out soon and carve pumpkins. And then, like, I'm looking at my calendar for about October, and I'm like, there's literally 2 days in which we could do this on a weekend that I have available. So, like, I'm gonna send those dates to them. Probably it won't work, or maybe one day will work. But it's like so hard to align that.
Yeah. And that's shitty.
Yeah.
Like, here are my 2 open days. Here's my calendar. Let me know. It's like scheduling a fucking meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it also has a lot
That's
to do
why
with weekdays or not? Like, because I feel like in college or whatever, like we still hung out on weekdays and everything, and now I feel like I'm less
yeah.
apt to hang out with friends on a
Yeah.
weekend.
And then, like, we're all busy during the week. And then on the weekends, we have to, like, get a bunch of shit done. Whereas,
Yeah,
like, when
also
you're a
that.
kid, obviously you just hung out on the weekends, but you literally had nothing to do on the weekends. So it was like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
so
think
true.
it's kind of hard too. Like I get in routines and like rhythms of stuff. And so like if I do something on a weeknight, it throws off my cadence for like the
Mhm.
next day sometimes. And that's what I don't love. But I think I could do a better job of like planning stuff for weekdays, especially like now that I've been so busy.
or like even getting done some of the little errands that you're supposed to do on the weekends during the week so that you can have more free time on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like,
also
let's say
think
you're
like
supposed
just
to
how
clean the
can
fridge on the weekend. Okay, do it on Thursday night. Get it over with. And
yeah.
then you can
I've been
have,
trying to do
like,
that.
True. I also think it's another thing of like how can we not have as much expectations for the situations that we're going to be in, like we're going to like I'm going to have fun no matter what, like going into the like interaction, like I'm gonna have fun no matter what, I think makes a huge difference of versus like I have to make this the most fun time, or like I have to make the most of this like 2 hours together type of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and we all have like hard outs too. We're like, okay, I have 2 hours, then I gotta go home. It's not like,
Exactly.
where's the night gonna take us? Don't know.
Yeah, that hard out is tough.
Yeah, it's like I gotta go to bed.
I don't.
But
I
you
feel
know,
like I've been
Saturday we were
watching.
out till 1:30 in the morning. Saturday. That's the
That's
latest
so
I've stayed out in
crazy.
so long.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy.
But it was fun like that. Like it felt like free time. Like we were like, oh, what do we do now? What do we do now? Like, should we continue? Blah blah blah. Like it felt fun like that.
When you were young, were you like aware of yourself growing up and like not enjoying things that you used to do? Were you like
Oh, that's so
aware of
interesting.
that as you grew up?
What do you mean? Like I'm not gonna like Barbies in a
Like,
few years?
yeah,
or...
like as I was growing up, I would start to notice that like I don't really like playing house anymore. Like I want to like it because I have great memories of playing it, but as I'm playing it, I'm like, this just isn't fun. Like my
Oh, that's
brain isn't
so
working the way it
interesting.
used to, and like that used to make me so sad.
No, I think you're very
Oh,
self-aware.
no. I feel like I was just like, I'm gonna do something else now.
I always wanted to
Or we would
grow
like
up. Like I always
I
like
always wanted to grow up.
yeah, like it was
I
always the
think I
next
did
thing.
until I started growing up, and then I was like, I'm never going to enjoy playing Barbies again. Like I'm never going to be a kid again.
Wait, that's so cute, kind of. It's like
Sad.
it's like real like self-reflection in the moment.
Yeah.
That's so
I don't think
interesting.
until I hit 18, I was like, I want to be older. Like
Same.
forever. Because I always felt like I wasn't like old enough to be considered like a legit person.
Same.
I'm sure you felt that even more so, Maggie, because of your sibling age gap.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I wonder with Evan if it was like because of your age, you like felt yourself growing up more, and then was also watching your siblings grow up, so you could like see it happening with them. Like I didn't see my
Yeah.
siblings
And I
grow up.
think like maybe because I had younger siblings and stuff, and we were still like kind of doing the things, like I would still be able to play Barbies with them, but then I'd be like, this isn't actually fun anymore. Or like I would be so aware that like
Yeah.
when I didn't believe in Santa anymore or whatever, and my siblings still did, and I'd be like, this really is sad. Like this sucks that I wish I was their age, like I wish that I still was super excited about Christmas or whatever.
Were your cousins the same age as you, or like similar in age or younger?
Yeah, my cousins are the same. My cousins, I have one cousin that's a year older than me, and then Paige is my sister's age.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because that's what, for the big difference for me was like all of my cousins were way older because my parents, both my parents were the younger sibling. So like I think when that was I just remember that being like kind of the big like, you are a baby, like you are a child.
Yeah,
like,
everyone around me has always been young. Like even when I was a senior in high school, my sister was a freshman, and I was on the pom team with my sister, and a lot of the people on the pom team were freshmen and sophomores, and literally I just hung out with them.
Really?
I was always just hanging out. I was like the driver. I was always hanging out with like 15-year-olds when I was 18. Like
that's really interesting.
Literally, once my sister got to high school with me, I really started like fading out of my friendship groups that were my age, because I would always want to be hanging out with like my sister and her friends.
To be with her.
I just I just liked it, but I mean, they danced with me. That was like, that's what and I didn't care. I didn't want to go to parties or drink or anything. I don't even know if my senior friends were doing that anyways, but like, yeah, I didn't care about that stuff. I just cared about like things that you do when you're a kid.
How did your sister feel about that? Did she like that you joined them, or was she annoyed by it?
No, I've always like hung out with my sister.
I feel like that'd be cool. Like I'd be like, oh cool, my like cool older sister wants to hang out with me.
I don't think she thought of it
like that. We had a lot of like friends that had like another sister that was my middle sister's age, and so we like all four hung out, which was really fun. And that was, we like always created different games. Like there were so many different times where I just remember like we would come up with the weirdest games. Like
that is so fun.
Yeah. And like there's one family that like there's 3 girls that were the same age as us, and then they had a little brother too. So we would like find a way to like include him in the like game that we were whatever like made up game that we were playing.
Did you guys have neighborhood friends?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I did not know.
That like family that like with the 3 girls and the 3 girls and
they were in your
brother,
neighborhood?
that was like a neighborhood friend.
That's very much filling.
Neighborhood friends were so fun.
Yeah.
Like going next door or across the street and ringing the doorbell and be like, are they home? Can I play? And we just like be going back and forth between the houses all day long and like
biking and rollerblading around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we had, like, did you have a park in your neighborhood?
Yeah, I think the closer thing was Walgreens. We would like ride in like the grocery store. So we would like ride,
so funny.
Walk or ride our bikes to Walgreens. Or like get donuts from the grocery store.
We used to hang out at QT. That was the move.
What's QT?
The gas station.
The Superior gas station in Arizona.
That's so funny. All like the stuff that was closed was like too far away for us still. So we just like went to the park and played.
I guess there were like in different friends' neighborhoods there were always parks.
Yeah.
Or like I had a friend that lived right by a golf course, so we would like at night, let's go walk on the golf course. Like,
oh yeah, once I had a friend that lived on the golf course. That was like the coolest thing ever.
It's like once you start losing your imagination and being able to play pretend, then it's like, let's go walk. Literally, it becomes like the activity. Let's go walk. Let's go ring someone's doorbell and run away. You know, like
that's so true.
Ours was like, let's sneak on to like the high school football field and like take a little bit of mischief.
I did not do that. People were having sex on the football field and like the baseball fields, and that was so wild to me that anybody would do that.
Really?
Britt's like, low-key, I did that.
Are you talking about me?
Wait, did you guys go to church, like on like a church group or something? Because I feel like that was also a lot of my socialization every Wednesday night
and Sundays. Yeah. And we like when we got to high school, we would do like a lot of stuff like after church.
Oh, there's a big
like breakfast or lunch.
There is a big church by where we grew up, and that's where there was always like sports games going on Friday nights. So that's literally where all the kids would be. CCV. I feel like my little sister Logan, that's where she like got into some shit in high school.
Really?
Yeah. But like it wasn't going to a church service. It's just like where everybody was, and there were like soccer games or basketball games or whatever at night. And so like all the kids in high school would get dropped off at CCV and like smoke some weed or
they had,
something.
Like sports stuff there. They like football. That's so
they have like leagues, like flag football for little kids though. But like everybody was there, so like in high school you would get dropped off there.
It wasn't even for the high school kids. The high school kids would watch little kids.
Well, it would just be a bunch of families and people there, and I think maybe it was more like middle school. When you were in middle school, you would get dropped off there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the most church thing we did over here.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, it's cute.
I feel like I liked my church group though. Like those are some of like my best friends. And I feel like we didn't necessarily like we obviously like did the things like church wise, but we also like had a lot of like imagination and like friendship outside of the church too. It was just like where we met and became
like
friends.
My church group is not even people I met in church. It's like my school friends. We went to the church and hung out basically. Like I'm not friends with anyone that like was like from the church or something. It was just like an extra.
A lot of my friends were from the church. Like they were like all over the city and went to different schools.
Another huge component of friends when you're a kid and even now is like having that common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think like the lack of the third space or third place now makes like, I mean, like all my friends that I danced with, we had that in common. We danced together every night. And then when we weren't dancing together, we were talking about dance or making up dances or blah, blah, blah. Like your church friends, you saw twice a week in church, and then when you weren't in church together, you were talking about church, and you had that common thing. And now, like, your school friends, you saw them every fucking day, so you talked about school and the boys in the school and the girls in the school, and like you had those commonalities. And now we don't have that unless you have work
Or if it was
friends
work, yeah.
in which you like bitch about the shitty people that you work with. Like, when I hung out with my work friends, we would literally talk about work all day long, and it was so fun, and it was so nice to be able to talk to them about work, but we were still just talking about work. And then, like, maybe when we got drunk, we would talk about our lives and stuff, but like it was the friendship was formed around that one commonality that we had. And now like that's how we're friends. We talk about social media, like.
So this article said that internet friendships, like a large reason why they're taking off and everything is because you can find the similarities between
commonality.
you, and it's a lot easier to make friends that way. And it also said that it's a lot easier to share dark or intense thoughts or things that you wouldn't want to share in person with your internet friends. So sometimes the friendships can be like deeper, faster. And then it says that you do receive the same satisfaction as when you're speaking with a friend in person as you do over FaceTime or texting. Like if you were texting an in-person friend, it's the same satisfaction as texting someone that you've never met in person, but you don't get the same like physical brain symptoms that you would get of like hugging somebody or like laughing.
But we
with
don't
somebody
hug
or
each other
something like that.
anyways.
True. Oh, I'm gonna hug you. Get ready to be hugged.
But the other thing I remember, she was kind of like my older sister and like nanny. She said that in high school, like your college friends can be more meaningful friendships because you're becoming friends based on things that you both enjoy and like more commonalities and like more things that are like resonating with you and your like actual person versus like you're just put together in high school and like you're just gonna be friends because you like have the same class or you play sports together. And I always thought that was like very interesting and something I've observed over time too, because I think a lot of my college friends like I've stayed friends with because, you know, we just you're choosing to be friends, not because you're like in the same class and you have to be friends.
Yeah.
Should I read our listeners' responses? Because one of them replied something like that. That the people that you meet as adults are more who you've grown into, and your childhood friendships reflects like the person that you once were.
Totally.
Caroline said, which is interesting, is like she is still best friends with her middle school best friend, but they were a long distance friendship almost immediately. So like their friendship hasn't really changed now as adults because they were already kind of had that space beforehand. And that's what a lot of people replied was like it was just a lot more spontaneous as kids, a lot more doing what you want when you feel like it, and now they feel like people are not making friends as an adult and there's just like no time to actually see them,
especially when people get into relationships, because you, like that article said, you start having that type of
your own
bond with your partner. And like with your partner you hang out all day long. I mean, you're like, even before you live together, you're like, they come over or you go over to their house and then it's like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Space.
The other thing I also think too, like from middle school and even in college, is you almost have like a standing like date with your friends. Like on Fridays, it's not a matter of like, are we gonna hang out? It's a matter of where are we going? What are we doing? And that's I think
and that's
another
something
thing
you
too
get
is
with your
like
partner.
But even like, and even my friends, like for the summers, I'm like thinking back, I would still have like some of my college friends would stay in Ann Arbor and like I would still like live on campus and stuff. And then my high school friends, they would just like blend into the mix. So like we were gonna do something like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it didn't really matter like what it was. And even like with my boyfriend at the time, like I still did a lot of stuff with my friends over him, or like he would come along, or like it would be fine if I like missed one or two days, like that we were all doing stuff together. But it was like this just standing reservation, and there was not like a matter of when we're gonna see each other again.
That makes sense. I love that. We were just talking about too, like having a yearly friend trip type of thing and making it the same week every year or something. So then it's like, this is the week every year we're doing this vacation. Mark it on the calendar. It's not changing. Come if
Yeah,
you
that'd be
want. You
cute.
don't have to come if you don't want.
That's like what we're trying to do with my family right now too.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
think.
That's a good
And that's
family
what we
idea.
kind of do like Joe's family with like the ski trip in March, and like I think we're gonna do the same thing with my family in February. Like
That's a
every year
great
it's just gonna be
idea.
like a February ski trip and a March ski trip.
Love that.
So, but I think there could be more to do with friends too.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. 55% of people said they still have at least one friend from middle school or elementary school, which is pretty interesting. I feel like that's pretty high.
Yeah, I think so too.
Making friends as an adult, 28% meets them through mutual friends, 51% through work, 15% through social media, and 6% through a hobby. So it's definitely work is like work is the school of being an adult, which sucks for us. But also
Well, it
not
could also
because
be
we met each
Well,
other.
we met, yeah. We just all need to
also
move
just,
to
like,
the same
cast a
place.
wider net.
Yeah. Okay, 36% of people said that they hang out. They see their friends every month or so. And then all the other ones were about 20-something% of every week, every quarter, about a year, every once a year. I see my friends here probably once a month or once a quarter-ish, I think.
Isn't that wild though? That's like that's 4 times a year or 12 times a year.
Like that's crazy.
That's like not a lot at all.
But it's also like weekends come and go so quickly, and I'm like, oh
They
shit.
do.
Like, yeah, I think being able to be more spontaneous with hanging out would make such a huge difference, because like a lot of times I'm like, oh shit, it's Friday already. I didn't make any plans. And then it's like, guess I'm not doing anything, or, like,
And that's
nobody's
where
asking me to
I
hang
feel like
out.
I have to be a little bit better with planning and intention with that, because I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I could have done something this last weekend,
Mhm.
but I just didn't make any plans. And then when the time came around, I was like, I don't really feel like doing anything. So I didn't do anything.
I'm also bad because I'll look ahead in the calendar and be like, no, I won't feel like doing the thing. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm too busy that week, I don't want to add in an extra thing. Oh my God, Finley's like he's on my desk. He won't chill up.
Does he jump up there?
Yeah, it's like full jump. He's like literally a cat. Fuck, what was I saying?
You look ahead in your calendar, and then
Oh
you're like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna want to do.
Yeah, like I'll be like, oh, if there's 2 busy weekends in a row, then I'm like, okay, I don't want to make plans for the weekend after that because I'll know that I want to do nothing that
I'm like
weekend.
that too. That's exactly how this weekend was, because we got back and then we have this weekend just to chill, and then we're going to Austin on Friday. So I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, I can't do
I'm just
anything
gonna.
this
This
weekend.
is my weekend. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is for me. But
And
I
then you
probably
do
would have
need
had
that
plans.
time too. So that's what's hard to balance is like you do need to take care of yourself and like refuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we grow up, we just get more boring and less energy.
Yeah.
At least most of us. Some people have a lot of
69.
energy.
If I could wish for one thing, it would probably be energy. Like
Me too.
something about my personality or focus. Energy and focus would be.
Adderall.
Yeah. Or working out and eating healthy and doing all these other things that I don't do. Drinking way
And
more
I
than
don't think it
1
would
glass
make
of
that
water
much of a
per day.
difference.
Not good. 69% of people said that they make specific plans versus just scheduling time to hang out. And I also was thinking that in a couple, it almost is even more so like that. Like when you're planning double dates or something, it's more planned out than like girl time. Like if I'm just gonna go hang out with a friend or something, more I'm like, oh, I'll just come over and we'll have a drink, or oh, we'll just go to this restaurant and talk. But if it's like a double date, then we plan more specifically what restaurant we're going to or what activity we're doing. I feel like.
I also think it's tough with like couple friends because, and I think Tink said this on her podcast where she was like, you are not gonna like necessarily get along perfectly with like your friend's significant other, and like you can't really expect your friends
Mm-hmm.
or your significant others to like get along. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like a very rare occasion where like the two bond like perfectly together. And so that's where I think it's really tough, because it's like I could want to hang out with my best friend all the time, but like if our boyfriends are not like BFFs, like it's not going to happen as much.
Exactly.
And so I think
You
that's
know what
more
I've
tough too.
noticed with some of the TikTokers that I follow that are married? All of their husbands' friends are their friends' husbands.
Oh,
I'm
all of
like,
them.
how?
Wait,
It's
what?
like men are just so like okay, let's say
All
JC,
of
for
their
example,
okay.
and Leif, her husband. JC has a ton of friends from social media or whatever. They're all her best friends. And Leif's best friends are her best friends' husbands. Like he hangs out with, like they all, he makes his friends
Oh.
by his wife putting.
But that's like so rare, I feel.
It seems like all the people that
I
I
think
see are
boys
like
do that a
that.
lot.
Like
But it could
Emily
go vice
Kaiser and
versa.
Avery Woods. Do you know Avery?
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, it's her best friend on TikTok and in real life now, I guess. But their husbands are best friends. Like they hang out all the time too. Like it's just funny how
That's
men
so
just like kind of
interesting.
go along and
Mhm.
like
Joe is definitely not like that. I'm like, let's do this. And he's like, okay. Which is totally fine. Like, I don't think it's necessary for him to be like obsessed with my like friends, all of my friends, like
Mhm.
significant others.
I think
yeah.
it also depends of new friends versus older friends too, because then it's like my old friends, Cameron's definitely less apt to be like, oh, let's go hang out with their boyfriends because like
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like it's more random versus like if we made friends now, then it's more automatic, like they're a couple,
You're
we're
both like getting
being
to know each
friends.
other at the
Yeah,
same
at the same
pace.
rate, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. But how do you, I mean, that's kind of what you have been doing with like the girlfriends, right?
Yeah, like I've been
Like
hitching
girlfriends
his
and
friends.
wives. Yeah. I feel like it's almost easier for girls to just get along with other girlfriends
Yeah,
versus like
I think
boys
so.
getting along with other boys.
I feel opposite.
Boys can hang out and get along in the situation, but they're not gonna like be texting that night or like
Yeah.
debriefing about what happened or like sharing their feelings. It'll be like they get along in the moment. Whereas like girls, I feel like
Yeah.
more develop like a deeper friendship. Maybe that's very
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
connect
stereotypical
faster
though.
with like other people. That is interesting.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Oh, the last one was just that 65% of people talk to their in-person friends more than their internet friends, and 35% of people talk to their internet friends more than their in-person friends. I feel like I'm like tied,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I am too.
I don't know. But then that also goes back to the whole parasocial relationship thing and how much of our internet friends are actual friends.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what people think too after this episode.
You know, it makes me feel better. I think that like everyone struggles with adult friendships.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone's great at it unless they just still have the same friends that they had before.
I also think it's so much easier if people stay in the same place. It's
Yeah.
so hard when like people shift around and move all over the place.
Yeah, like if you had your
And
college
it's,
friends and you just stayed there and you all were there, you would still just
yeah,
have the same friend group and probably be living similarly.
exactly. Well, I also know so many people like from Michigan like move to Chicago with like their entire like fraternity or like
Yeah,
sorority
that's
and
so
like
crazy.
everyone just like transplants to like a new city together. And like I think that that's the same way with New York too. There's a lot of people that like they all go to New York City
Yeah,
and then
didn't
they
all
like
of
just hang
Alex
out with the
Earl's
same people.
roommates like all went to New York except for her and Kristen or whatever?
I think she
I
said
think a
something like
handful of
that.
them are still there in Miami,
Oh.
but I think most of them went to New York.
That's so brave too, to just be like, okay, I'm just gonna move with my friends. We're all gonna make this big jump.
Yeah. It's kind of nice though after school to like just know so many people in a new city because like it's just a big city, so there's bound to be a lot more people that you just know.
Yeah. And I think also people get really down on themselves for not having like enough friends or that friend group that like we want. And like even we do this,
Or you
we like
just
want
see.
it so bad or feel like FOMO or jealous
Yeah.
of it. But like really as long as you have literally one friend that you can talk to about your life and keep up with consistently, like you're good. That's all you need.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I also think a lesson out of this episode should be to, even if it's planning, like plan to do different things with your friends. Don't just go to dinner or happy hour. Like how I went to the batting cages, like that was so fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to plan to do, my friend that I went to the batting cages with, we're going to do like one of those murder mystery games for like Halloween or whatever. Like there are so many things that you can do that's not just going to happy hour and will make a more memorable experience.
And it's interesting because that's how you would act on a date more. You'd be like, oh, like if we're dating, we need to find new things to do and more fun activities. But then with a friend, you're like, oh, let's just go to happy hour real quick.
And like doing the things that you would do as a kid.
Yeah,
like playing a game. That's what you do. Or like
how can you play more?
Play laser tag.
Yeah,
I love laser like tag. Doing things like different that you used to love as a kid. Not necessarily playing house, but like the other things.
No, I agree. Sometimes me and Cam just play like computer games together, and it's very fun.
Yeah, or walk to the park and go down the slide and swing in the swings. Like
play basketball.
Yeah, that's pickleball has been so nice, like because it's fun doing an activity together and like
and that like physically bonds you in your brain more when you're like doing an activity or something scary. That's like on The Bachelor, why they always make them fucking bungee jump and parachute and shit because it like bonds you more when you're doing something scary.
That's so funny. Yeah, my best friend that was here like just loves an activity, so we did like so many different things. And like even when we went to the baseball game, like she pulled out her phone and she had like one of those like head flip games. I don't remember which one it was. No, it was a different thing. It was actually different. It was like I forgot the name of it, but it's basically like a bunch of random questions and like you ask them to the group and it kind of like
fun.
I forgot what the name of it is. I need to get it though. It's such a good group activity, especially for like waiting around or like waiting in lines and stuff. So I think that's always fun.
Yeah, I love games.
I need to find more board games. Maybe we should like ask everyone for their favorite board games or like group games.
I love party games.
There's so many new ones.
We played one in Cabo. Ryan and Reagan, our cousins, are like, so they have the best friend group. They literally like their friends. They all bought houses in the same neighborhood, and they just go to each other's houses and like all cooked in it. It's like the most ideal.
That's what I want.
I want it so bad. Like I'm so jealous of it. It's insane. Which is another reason why I want to live in Phoenix. Deb, you could just join them. They're in Phoenix.
Oh,
I'll just invite you to one of their dinners.
Yeah.
But anyways, they play this game where you like. It's called like, can I bring this on a picnic or something? So if I'm like, I'm bringing something on a picnic. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on a picnic and I'm going to bring a beach ball. And then you would go, can I bring something?
I think I've played that.
And then like if it fits in the category that I'm thinking, like if I'm thinking, well, that was dumb because it was like beach things. But if I'm like thinking of beach things and you name a surfboard, then I'd be like, yeah, you can bring a surfboard. Or if you're like, can I bring a notepad? I'd be like, no, you can't bring a notepad because it doesn't fit in the category. And then like you just go around.
Is it also like, can you come? Like, I'm going to bring a surfboard. Can I come? And then they're like, no, you can't
something
come.
like that. Yeah.
Because I remember being like so frustrated by that game. I was like, I want to come. So you have to like say the right thing in order.
Yeah, but it was really fun. Like there's so many games like that.
Yeah, in Colorado, Britt played this with us, but we kept playing this game called Password, I think. And you have to say one word to your partner and you have to try to get them to say the word that's on your card. But you can't say the word on your card, obviously.
And you can only say one word?
Yeah, at a time.
Oh, that's so hard.
And then you go around like the group.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It was fun.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, games like that are fun when you don't have to be like attached to a board or anything too. Like,
that's great.
You just play it anywhere or like take it to a bar. I love doing that. Taking like games like that
bars
to a
have
bar.
Games. Yeah.
But you can take your own.
True. That is, I've never done that. That's very true.
I feel like that's Paige to a T. She has so many good games like that.
She does.
That's great. Before we close out, I was on Unleashed podcast, our friend Haley and Bailey's podcast.
Oh, you were?
No, I wasn't on the podcast. I was sorry if I worded it like that.
You said
I was saying on their
podcast.
podcast. I was
like, why the fuck didn't you tell me that you were on their podcast?
No, I was not on their podcast.
I feel like we should have known about this.
No, I heard something on their podcast in which they were saying, they were asking each other if they would marry themselves right now. And I was thinking that we should talk about if we would be best friends with ourselves right now. Like, because I think that I could improve my friendship giving to be a better friend. I don't know if I would choose myself as best friend currently. I'd be like, damn, this chick always bails.
I think I'd be a good best friend right now because I have nothing going on.
I feel like I would still be a good best friend right now.
That's good.
But
I mean, overall I would be, but yeah, I can make improvements.
Yeah. That's a very interesting question.
Interesting.
I remember seeing that clip from them.
I know, the marriage is like intense. I'm like, I don't know if I would marry myself right now.
You're like, Cameron,
yeah, that's me though. But I'm at a point in my life where I want to do things and hang out with people and say yes to things.
Your year of yes.
Yeah, in that idea of being a best friend, I think I would be a good best friend.
How is it going so far? Have you said yes to things? Like, how's that come up?
I went to the baseball cages.
Good job. Saying yes.
I'm going to Austin. I'm fucking scared of, but
Are you bringing
that in? No.
Oh.
You have a really that's like a packed trip, right? It's like a very scheduled trip.
But there's also like a lot of free time. And I just don't know what it's literally.
You gotta fill time.
Yeah, like what the fuck am I gonna do? Like I'm all by myself. Yeah.
I'll hunt you.
I'm gonna call you and be like, can you come?
Yes.
Can you come pick me up?
It'll be exciting though.
But I'm only gonna be there for one full day. So I mean it'll be fine. I'm just very
That's pretty crazy.
Wait, what? It's only one full day?
Yeah.
Oh.
I get on Thursday and leave on Saturday.
How long are you there for, Britt?
A long ass time.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I thought one of you were there for like a long time.
Yeah, I'm there from like Friday to the following Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, on the calendar, Dev's is like 2 days. Yours is like so fucking long. Damn, that's crazy.
But like 4 of the days we're driving, so.
Oh, that doesn't really count.
No.
I just hate the way my body feels when I have anxiety and I know I'm going to be anxious the whole time. So I'm just not going to feel good the whole time, which is
it sucks. And then you like have anxiety about having anxiety.
Yeah. I just wish I didn't feel that way.
Do you think your meds will help?
I don't think they're going to help that much. Like,
yeah. Well, are you taking
because I'm still like anxious thinking about it, you know, like
yeah.
But yeah, I'm almost done with my prescription.
Should we talk about the comment right now? So I was gonna bring it up for this episode or the next episode.
I guess.
Well, now it's kind of long, but then you brought up the medicine.
Just say it.
So one of our listeners commented on our Instagram post, basically that like it was very awkward when Devon was talking about her medicine and like I kept interrupting and shit. And one, I do interrupt, which I'm really trying to work on. But it was just very interesting because like we had 2 comments like that, and it just made me think like often when we're recording, like I think about our listeners obviously, but I'm not fully thinking of like how they'll perceive what I'm saying. Like in that instance, I was perceiving it as them changing their medicine. So I was perceiving it as like, oh shit, like maybe we shouldn't be telling everybody to change their medicine rather than like focusing on you. But it's interesting.
And what the listener is getting out of like Devon's like sharing.
Or like that me and Devon were like beefing or whatever. So it's interesting to like I feel like that's a new thing that we're going to experience where like I'll have to talk to Devon and be like, wait, were you actually like upset with me? Did I actually do something? Or is that something that was like just perceived by the audience, you know? Let me have to
Do you remember that one comment on TikTok we got where they were like, those two girls are so mean to the other girl, they're not even letting her talk or something about me? I was like, that makes me feel really awkward that people are thinking that like you guys don't like
me and Maggie don't let you talk.
Yeah.
Which, like, I do see how it's perceived that way. Because Devon's just quieter, and me and Braylee will, like, start initially talking more. And Devon usually, like, quiet. But I'm really trying. I'm like, I will sit in silence just to wait for Devon to say something.
That's very interesting.
That's nice of you.
But yeah, I don't think we're beefing, guys. It's okay.
I know, we want to be more like the smartless guys.
I had to like go back and be like, was there something that happened here?
I don't know. It's very weird.
I don't know. My mom was like, you can take half of your prescription. It's fine.
I mean, you totally can.
Go slow and low or something. That's what you're
also
supposed to do.
Literally me interrupting you right now. I can't. I was saying it because I went cold turkey on my medicine and I found out it didn't work. Like, I wasn't saying like,
oh so you perfect. Dr. Maggie? You just decided to stop taking your medication? I don't think you should be telling our listeners. That's not
exactly.
That's not right.
You're incorrect.
Did you ask your doctor about that?
I need to re-listen to it. See if
did you edit that one, Devon?
I think you did, Dev, because I don't recall
I think so, because
I
am recalling it more.
That makes sense. See, I need to listen to every episode and learn from my mistakes. So I apologize.
I also think I'm really excited to record in person because like the whole interrupting thing sounds so much different, I think, when people are like in person. Like Joe's always telling me like the guys like a lot of guy podcasts, they're always talking over each other. But like they're in the same room, so it like is a little bit different, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do.
But the smart guys are constantly over talking each other, but they don't record together.
Yeah. Like I try to stop as quickly as possible because nobody's going to hear anything that any of us are saying into our mics if we're all talking into our mics at the same time.
Yeah.
I push forward.
Like, I'm gonna get it out. Let me just finish.
Yeah.
No, I try to read like which one of us is gonna stop versus which one of us is gonna keep talking. But it's genuinely hard.
They're just like full stops.
That is the most awkward part of having a conversation with more than two people.
Yeah.
The like who's gonna talk when, and yeah, it's so weird.
And then it's like hard for me to remember my thoughts because then like if you guys say something after that, then I'm like, oh, I want to reply to what you just said versus what I previously was thinking of.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. But that's also probably why you don't talk as much, Devon, because like you already don't want to like interrupt, but you also doubly don't want to like.
Maybe you should start raising your hand.
That's
that I hated in college when, like, you know, when you go to college, they don't want you to raise your hands. They want you to act like you're an adult and just speak up. Yeah, right. Am I ever just going to try to fucking speak up? If I did that, somebody would speak up over me and then I would want to go kill myself.
I would never.
I am so, like, it is the most embarrassing thing in the world when you start talking and somebody starts talking over you and then you stop talking and nobody, like, one person noticed that you got cut off and it's just like
I would so much rather nobody acknowledge or notice me not getting acknowledged, like getting heard than like one person.
The one person that's like, "Aw."
But it's different when we're recording. Fuck off. It's not the same as in a situation in person where you try to say something and then like you're talked over. Like with us, it's just which one of us is talking first type of thing. Like I never feel.
There are those people though that are such fucking assholes where they do such a good job of just be like, I didn't hear you and I'm not going to acknowledge you. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's like, horrible. You are the worst type of person. That's like the whole thing too with like the when you like introduce yourself to somebody that you've met before and they like completely are like, I don't know who you are. I've never met you in my life. Like there's somebody, I was on this like networking call and she remembered me and I literally just like thought I was meeting her for the very first time in my life. But I still was like, oh yeah, like I made her feel like I remembered. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
you
gonna
wouldn't be like,
I don't
oh.
fucking remember you.
Yeah.
I did that this weekend. I hit someone with a nice to meet you at the same time as they hit me with nice to see you again.
Man.
Oh,
That's
Oh
fucking
my God.
awful.
Cancel Maggie.
Yeah, cancel Maggie. That is literally, I hate that more than anything.
And it's like I met him one time. It's just you just always need to say like nice to see you. Like there's never a circumstance where you need to be like it's nice to meet you. Just
I feel like you could always my go-to is like, how have you been?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or how are you doing?
I just say hi.
Then you don't have to.
That's it.
Hi.
They can do the rest.
What did they respond with, Maggie?
I literally kind of walked away and moved on to the next person because I was like, there was two people, so I was like, nice to meet you, nice to see you, but then it was just like awkward. I was just immediately was like, oh.
Wow.
But hopefully he didn't realize. I don't know.
He probably is still thinking about it to this day.
Yeah, he's like, this bitch fucking.
I hope not. People do that to me all the time. Like it's worse on the other side.
I just think that people should like not be so self-important and be like, oh, we've never met before, but we've met 3 times. I think that used to happen a lot in like work situations, and I would always be like, hey, we talked about this, or like blah blah blah.
That's what I do when people don't remember me. I'm like, you don't remember when we blah 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 blah. Like how do you not?
If I was drunk, I would.
But most of the time,
I
didn't like let people like get to that point. I'm just like, no, this is like what we talked about, or like this is how we know each other.
I'm waiting for Devin to say something.
I don't have anything to add.
I'll just fucking mute myself.
No, but like talking over each other is a much better dynamic than like, let's say Maggie asked a question and then like you had to raise your hand before you could talk. Imagine if that's what we did.
I guess so. Yeah, that would be bad.
But that's also like in podcasts, like no one wants to sit through like awkward silences. Like it's different in a conversation when you like pause and like let the conversation flow or let people think. But I think on a podcast, you can't really have like
let us know in the comments if you like our dynamic and how we talk over each other, or if you would prefer us to raise our hands. I'm
gonna get canceled.
I think you're gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get canceled too, so it's fine. We're equal offenders.
What are you gonna get canceled for? Oh, interrupting?
Talking over you.
You don't do it as much. Like I'm definitely the worst.
Really? I do it so bad.
Maybe it's when you're medicated.
Like, fuck you.
Because I edit the podcast, there are a lot of times where I will cut out us talking over each other or like cut myself so that you can hear what Brittany's saying or whatever.
Yes, same.
And I will say that there are a lot of times where I stop and say to Brittany, go ahead. I did the episode that came out today, I cut out myself doing it probably 3 times. Go ahead.
Well, because it's also like if I'm like asking you guys something or like starting off to prompt, then I don't know which one of you is gonna answer first, or if I need to direct it towards one of you or something.
You could run it like a panel. You know when they have like guest like celebrity panels, and they'll be like, yeah. So Brittany, how did you feel about blah blah blah? You know.
That is so true. I was gonna like ask listeners like if they notice a difference between the episodes that I edit versus you editing, or if it is similar, because I wonder if like our styles are different, or if like one of us leaves more pauses or cuts things out more or whatever.
I think you leave more pauses than me.
Do you listen to my episodes?
I have before. I don't listen to all of them, but I think I listened to one recently and I was like, oh, that's a long pause.
Oh, interesting. That's weird because like when I was first editing, I like cut out all the pauses way more at the beginning of the podcast. But I think I started really paying attention to other podcast editing and like trying to hear the pauses and whatnot and like of an actual conversation. And I think I sometimes like when you hear like the actual length of a pause if we're like in a conversation where
when people are thinking.
Yeah. But I usually still cut it a bit.
A difference between us, because there's definitely pauses where like we just don't know who's gonna talk. So like it's just, that's an awkward pause versus like,
Yeah.
I'm like actually thinking about the question that was asked.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like a different type of pause.
Yeah. Okay, well, go comment on our Instagrams. Your real.
Tell us all the thing we're doing bad. Leave a review.
It is good to know. I want to
just
improve.
put a review in our Facebook group. Don't leave that fucking review on Apple.
If it's nice, you can leave it on Apple.
Yeah, only 5 stars, please.
Also, on Spotify, you can comment what you thought about the episode for each individual episode, and that helps us grow as a podcast. So if you have any thoughts or feelings and you're listening on Spotify, drop them in the little comment box.
Please do. Make sure you leave us a rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you join our Facebook community, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Peace and love
and blessings.